It's your personality, EA. It's your tour guide, EA. It's whatever you want to call me, but call me EA. Let's roll. Are you kidding me?
Analyzethis Injustice series. I couldn't wait to sit down with Mr. Michael Braxton. Welcome, Mr. Michael Braxton, to the show. Excellent. Tell my people about you.
So, my name is Michael Braxton. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Moved to Oregon in 2012, in January 2012. I'm the former executive director of a nonprofit organization called Empowerment Clinic.
Yes.
First of all, let me just say that Empowerment Clinic began in 2009 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Actually, 2008 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and we reorganized it, and got it certified, when we moved out to Oregon. Mm-hmm. And we started it again in 2014 in Oregon, and that's when it started here. Okay. So at its apex, which is around 2017, Empowerment Clinic employed 26 people, most of which were African American. Our motto was really to individuals who had been incarcerated, or black people who had struggles getting employment with other organizations, social service or nonprofit organizations, or who had experienced racism or discrimination at other organizations. So what the intent of Empowerment Clinic was to bring the black community together, and to provide not culturally specific services, but services intended to address trauma-induced. They use trauma-informed care. That's the term that's widely used. I like to say trauma-induced care.
Yes.
Because that's what racism is, really the precipitator of all mental illness. You know what I mean? That's the cause of all mental illness is racism. And so what we wanted to do, we wanted to address that piece, because not a lot of people understand what racism really is and what racism really does to individuals.
Absolutely.
And so, we had 3 transitional houses. One, when we were in Alder, we were in Hillsborough, Multnomah County, and we had a spot on 90th and Vision. So we had 3 different locations. We had 3 different transitional houses. We had mental health services. We had a black pharmacist. Shout out to Dr. Kimmy, doing your thing.
Shout out, Dr. Kimmy, we love you. I had to stop. Just give her time right now, because she made that whole building move.
Dr. Kimmy, no doubt,
absolutely.
No doubt. Much love for Dr. Kimmy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And the rest of the staff as well. We had a really good staff. And we provided peer mentoring services, like I said, mental health, addiction.
Everything under the sun.
Pretty much, you can. Not only that, we had we had a thing called best bag lunches, where anybody from the community could come in and get food. If you was homeless, you could come in and get a bag lunch. And Central City Concern actually used to buy bag lunches from Empowerment Clinic and give it to their clients. So we used to branch out and partner with other organizations as well. As the founder and executive director of Empowerment Clinic, I want to accept full responsibility for what happened and why Empowerment Clinic is no longer in existence.
Cheers.
However, let me say, Empowerment Clinic was never forced to close.
Never forced to close.
It voluntarily closed in October of last year.
Right.
So the board of directors and myself, we decided to close Empowerment Clinic. So, you can check the records, you can check the legalities, all of those kind of things.
Definitely public information.
I received some direction from some people, to slow down, because Empowerment Clinic was moving at a fast rate. We were serving a lot of people. We had a lot of success, and there were some agencies who, were jealous of that. You had, and I don't want to really name it, because it's not about naming organizations or people or places. That's not what's important. But the powers that be, me being a strong black man, I would be in meetings with very powerful people, and I would speak what I thought to believe the truth about how black people and Latino people were being served by tradition, people of color, how they was being served by organizations that had existed in this community for a number of years. And the reality is that these people kept getting money, millions of dollars. And as a matter of fact, in 2015, if you read the Oregonian ran a 1 week series in which they listed the amount of money that had been given to the top 5 organizations in this area. Yeah, and if you look at the success rates of the organizations, they were very poor, and we had very high success rates.
So slow down, because I feel the energy. You got something to get off your chest, and I want to make sure that we put everything in the box. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. So when it comes to the Department of Justice, where did it go bad?
Somebody said that I was stealing money. Mm-hmm. Somebody said Michael Braxton is stealing from Empowerment Clinic. right? And I don't
How
know.
can that happen?
So, well, let me tell you this.
That's what they do for us. That's the first thing they do.
This is what's key. And I do need to say this because this is important.
Mhm.
So the lawyer for Empowerment Clinic, there was a lawyer that we had, and I won't say her name, but the lawyer that we had for Empowerment Clinic was playing both sides. If I had slowed down and took a look around me and saw what was happening, you know, and put people in place, you know, and made better decisions.
Right.
You know, we learn from our mistakes.
Absolutely.
And so I learned from a lot of mistakes that I made. I just didn't see these things coming. You know, Empowerment Clinic and myself were investigated by the Oregon Department of Justice.
Woo.
No charges were filed.
Right.
Nothing.
Didn't
Zero.
find nothing.
Because there was nothing to find.
Right.
Because I would never steal from my people, ever. After that it happened, and after the investigation, you know, which was very taxing on me, because this was after it closed, you know, and the investigation was only, I think it went on for about almost a year. Like it just ended like 5 months ago. You know what I mean? And so, to be honest with you, you know, even though, see, when a black man is under investigation by any government entity, there's always anxiety involved because you ain't even got to be guilty.
Hello.
You know what I mean? They can make you guilty if they want you to be guilty,
Absolutely.
depending on what they want to find or what they want to look for.
You know, when they look for trouble, they can find a way to find it.
Yeah. So the reality was this, is that I said, you know, I got a powerful God. You know what I mean? And the reality is that I knew what I was doing in my heart was right. You know, I knew it was justified. I knew I was providing justice, you know, for our people. And I knew my intentions were good. So I knew God was going to take care of me regardless.
Tell us about Produce Justice.
So Produce Justice is, like I said, it's a limited liability corporation. So I'm doing things a little bit differently this time. You know, I conduct assessments for individuals that have been incarcerated. So I have contracts with lawyers.
Right.
You know, I provide expert testimony in
Right.
court and
Right.
in terms of getting people into treatment rather than getting them jail time.
Right. So what's your background?
So my background is, so I have 2 master's degrees. I have a master's degree in business administration.
Woo.
I have a master's degree in social work. I'm a doctoral student at Lewis and Clark for my educational leadership postgraduate degree. And I'm a CADC3, a clinical social work associate. I'm about to take my licensed clinical social work exam in about 16 days, actually. So once I pass that, I'll be a licensed clinical social worker. Right now, like I said, I'm a clinical social worker.
So what does that mean, licensed clinical social worker? I'm in the field.
Yeah, so I'm able to, so I provide mental health services, you know, basically. So I provide what you would call trauma-informed or trauma-induced care to talk about the effects of racism.
Right.
You know, and so that's where I start off with all people of color. You know what I mean?
Cause that's you. That's where it all starts.
It all starts there. An individual comes to me and he's been, you know, convicted of his 3rd DUI or something like that. You know, I ask, you know, I sort of in the biopsychosocial assessment. One of the, you know, there's questions that I ask, you know, specifically like, you know, how has racism? Do you believe racism is a factor or has impacted your life negatively in any way?
Yeah.
Right? And so once the individual starts from there and they say, yeah, now that's not the reason why the person necessarily got the DUI.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You can't blame
totally.
racism for driving drunk.
Hell
The
no.
2 are not synonymous.
Right.
You know what I mean? However, you know,
there's some trauma that led to you wanting to
exactly
use
right.
and,
You know,
and abuse.
Right. So what are the impacts? What are, you know, again, when we look at the social determinants, you know, of the reason why the person got the DUI or the reason why the person has a problem with substance abuse in the first place, you know, is it family dynamics? You know, is it occupational? Is it environmental? You know, what are the, you know, the social determinants that lead to that? And so when I talk about social determinants, so there's 9 areas of people activity, right? You got economics, education, entertainment, labor law, politics, sex, religion, and war. Right? Those are the 9 areas of people activity.
Okay.
Everything that impacts every individual on Earth has something to do with one of those 9 areas of people activity.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? When you have a business, you have to operate in a business model.
Absolutely.
And I didn't really, you know, so I kind of fell off that, and I didn't, you know, necessarily. I operated in a more friendly, associate sort of business model. And what I mean by that is that, so in Portland, there's not a lot of people of color.
No.
And so a lot of people, like, you know, like you being from here, know a lot of people.
Right.
And so when I would hire individuals, they knew so-and-so, and they would know the clients, and, you know, and things sort of got convoluted.
Right.
So there was a situation in which we had fired someone, and the individual that we fired threatened to shut the place down. She threatened. That was her threat. She said, "I'm gonna shut this shit down." Those were her exact words. And so she went to Multnomah County and said whatever she said, which wasn't true. And so Multnomah's their responsibility is whenever they get an allegation, they have to investigate. Which it's just the way the rules go. You know what I mean? And so I wasn't tripping on that. So they came and they did their investigation, and when they did their investigation, they had what are called findings.
Right.
And findings mean something like this. So, like for instance, the paperwork wasn't solid.
Right.
And so
you know how we do it. We leave a couple T's uncrossed and a couple I's undotted.
Even though the person is doing good,
absolutely.
The same woman that I just told you about got her kids back. She living in, she got a job, she doing well.
Wow.
But when they go look at the paperwork, they say, "Oh, okay, the T wasn't crossed, the I wasn't." We don't give a shit that she doing good. We care that the I wasn't.
It's wrong now.
Yeah,
it's all wrong.
Right. And so the person that was responsible for correcting that failed the audit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so as a result, we lost the contract.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So once we lost the contract, there was a ripple effect.
Right.
So that's why I take full responsibility, because if I had my head on correctly, you know what I mean? It's a chess game.
Well, it is in a sense, but you're only one person. You did a lot for our community. You came here, so don't ever second guess anything. I think things just happen for a reason. Sometimes it just happen, but your best work is yet to come.
Oh man,
I'm confident. What you working on these days?
You know what? That's the ancient Chinese secret. I'm trying to,
you gotta keep some secrets, boy. They hate you off at the pass.
That's what I'm saying. So I want to say shout out to everybody that supported me throughout this ordeal. All those that kept believing in me, no matter what. That was on my side. Regardless, and stuck with me through thick and thin. And even those who thought I was guilty. Even the haters, you know what I'm saying?
You need them too.
Yeah,
you need them too.
You gave me
fuel.
Yeah, you gave me motivation. To proceed, to not give up, and to continue and to do things better this time.
There was a reason why there was no African American based clinics. Now, right?
And so they
found every reason to shoot at you. So and I commend you. I hope this won't be the last time we see you working for our culture, because it's definitely lost. It's part of our generational curse. We're not stepping up enough, and then when we do step up, they knock us down, and then we just lay down.
Exactly.
We gotta step back up.
I want to say this. I want to say to all the listeners, this not over. I'm hoping that Multnomah County gives me another opportunity. Well, I'm here today because I want people to see my face and hear me say out of my mouth that I do take on the responsibility as the leader of the organization, because that's true humility.
Yeah, we don't do that enough. We definitely don't acknowledge taking accountability. People are not humble enough to say, I messed up, for lack of a better word.
Exactly. And the fight is ongoing. I mean, the fight against injustice, the fight against racism, is an ongoing fight.
Right.
It's something that's never going to end, at least not in my lifetime. And I'm committed to this fight.
Right.
I'm in all the way.
Yes.
100%.
And I see that. I've seen that, witnessed it, I bear witness to it. That's why I had to rush you in here, because we got this Injustice series, and I was like, man, he's Mr. Injustice. Yeah. I witnessed it. I saw how they did it. And, I have my own reasoning for why they did what they did to you. But at the end of the night, it was uncalled for. You know what I mean?
It was. It truly
was.
I
got your back 100 million%. Yeah. Any final words for my family?
Shout out to everybody that was ever an employee or a client of Empowerment Clinic. I want you to know that, you on my heart, you on my mind, you on my spirit, and I wish everyone the best. And trust me, this isn't the last that you've seen of Michael Braxton at all. Because again, God endowed me with this and in this as well, and this time it's just going to be a lot better. Whatever it is, whatever form it takes place in, I'm going to leave that up to God and let God do God's work. I'm going to take things a lot slower, at a slower pace, listen to people's advice, and just let things manifest from there, if given the opportunity to do so.
I talked to you before the demise. I kind of smelt it right when I came in. I knew what it was. It was like you didn't make enough relationships with the community.
That's true.
So when it was time to go to war, you were fighting by yourself.
That's a very good point.
So now we're in a way different position. You got allies. You got me. I own this community. I don't care what nobody say. Tell them they lying. I own this community, brother. So once we get back in the race, just trust me. We got to start at the top, and we'll put a better plan together to make sure we're reaching out to the right people.
Exactly.
That's what it
and
is.
You're right. I didn't, and that's one of the mistakes I made. I didn't do community building. That's what I'm saying. I don't know everything. You know what I mean? I'm a human being. I need to learn too, and I don't know everything.
Right.
I want to shout out to Dr. Kimmy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to shout out to my daughter Ebony. I want to shout out to Juanita. I want to shout out to Ron. Ron got his thing going with the Rip City Wings. Shout out to Rip City Wings doing his thing right there. That's a spin-off from Empowerment Clinic Best Bag Lunches. Shout out to that brother.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Doing this.
That's big, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's big. I'm very impressed.
Shout out to E. Shout out to Andrea. For doing her. Shout out to Tiny. Shout out to Eric Martin from Agbo. You always been a supporter. I love you. Shout out to Mike from Agbo. Shout out to Van from Agbo.
Yes.
All you guys. You know what I mean? Shout out to Tony V from 4D. Nothing but love.
Y'all better
man.
get y'all a drink, man. We got all these shots outs, man. It's a party. We want to thank everybody. You know what I'm saying? It's a thankful time.
Nothing but love. Man.
Analyzethis@gmail.com. If you can't get a hold of him, you already know I'm next in line, right? This man is very powerful. You want to get a hold of him? Got services. Trying to make changes in our community for the better, right?
All the time.
People,
Never stop.
We cannot let this go unnoticed. Injustice is big in our community, especially for our African American culture. I want to thank all my new subscribers. I want to thank everyone that supports EA and Analyzethis. Thanks for being part of the discussion. I just love everybody. You want to support me? Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you just seek out where we are. Hello.
Hello there.
Duh. People. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Let's go.